Alrighty, welcome. Here's a quick visual recap of the painting so far, and the whole point of doing it was to create a palette that looks just like this, an ongoing panpastel palette for me to use for portraits. And this was the reference photo that I started with by Pre-Illumination Seth, and cropped right in to get it within the golden spiral. And I will in a later video talk more about just why the golden spiral seems so visually appealing. But first, a shout out to Tina Worthing, who bought me coffee for this video, and she does a lovely newsletter, Promotion Paradox, runs her own management training service, and so thanks, Tina. Yep, so we're on pastel mat, using the lovely Panpastels pencils, and my hand is resting on unbuffered glassine paper, which is acid free and doesn't pick up the pastel, so it just prevents smudging. So it's not baking paper, it's a special acid free archival paper, very good for transporting finished works as well. So if you ever end up buying a pastel painting from me, it will come wrapped in this glassine paper. And I'm starting off in blues, as you see, my Panpastels blues, and yep, use them for the eyebrows and eyelashes, his beard. And although the hair is black, if you just try putting down black marks, it just doesn't work. And when you actually look at hair under light, you will see other colours reflected. In one bizarre moment of my life when I was very young, I got my hair dyed blue-black, and under fluorescent light, wow, it looked just like his hair there, so blue. So what you see, oh yes, so all these vids were done under natural light. I didn't use my studio lights for doing them, so it was just a different sunny day, and so that explains the colour change. It could be my camera as well. I'm using a Derwent here. I've just got a few Derwents, but mainly I use the Panpastels. I do have a set of the Pit Pastel pencils, and they're lovely too. But I'm just using up my Panpastels for now. I've said it before in other videos, it's a real curse for pastel artists, is that once you start collecting the pastels, whether it's sticks, or pans, or pencils, there seems to be no end to it. You can always be finding a new colour. You just want that shade. I'm just putting in some darks here with a General's charcoal. You can do your darks using a mixture of green and red, or red and blue to create a nice dark. But I find if I'm really looking for that contrast, those General's charcoal pastels are the way to go. The thing with hair is quite intimidating to do, and you can find quite a lot of videos on YouTube of different artists showing their techniques for doing hair. I don't know that I've actually got a technique yet. I haven't done enough paintings to really get the muscle memory required for doing hair, so I'm still feeling my way with it. But as I've learnt with doing just the general pastel painting, if you can follow the contours of the body, if you make your marks in line with how the contours work, the eye is pretty forgiving, and your brain will just fill in the details. So the same thing happens with here. You're trying to find, look at your reference and go, oh, which way is the hair going? Don't trust your brain to do here. Just, my word, our brains sometimes are just clueless if we listen to them, and that probably goes for a lot in life, really. But when it comes to art, listen to your eyes and just try and track the same direction that you can see that hair laying. You're not trying to do every single strand. We're not going for, a can of spaghetti. We're just trying to build up these different layers, and you want those colours in there to help create an illusion. Yeah, there's a good reminder. When doing hair, remember to breathe. It can be quite intense. You can get quite stressed doing hair, but once you get going, it's not so bad. Like many things in life, once you start and you get going, it's not so bad. And so with the hair, I'm using my pastel pencils because I just haven't been able to achieve what I want yet with panpastels for hair. There may be a way of doing it, a way of applying the pans. Years ago I saw an artist, incredible work that he did, and he would shave down his pastel sticks into little piles of dust, just like panpastels really, and he would use a toothpick or a tissue, a little bit of tissue paper that he would make as tight as a toothpick, and just dab those the pigment onto the page. It was really painstaking, but the results were stunning. So maybe I'll be able to do that one day with hair. But for now, it's pastel pencil, which I also use for the ears, eyes, all the little details in the face, fingernails. Just checking the video to make sure my fingernails are clean. Could be a little shorter. Never mind. Sorry about that. Anyway, I got a bit carried away with putting the highlights in his hair, but that's okay. If you lighten it up too much, you can always come back later and put in some darks. And which here I am, look, coming back in with some darks to make it more sensible, because it's very easy when you're doing hair to get carried away, like I said, and you start listening to your brain. You go, oh yeah, no, it's all like this. You need to stop and just look carefully at the reference, walk away from your painting, look at it from a distance and go, is that really right? Is that what I'm after? And the blue, here reflects all sorts of light, and so if you, I think I said before, if you just put down black, it looks terrible. You've got to have put some colour in there to make it zing. And it's a painting after all. We're not trying to replicate the photo. There was always a beautiful photo there by pre-illumination Seth that I'm working off. And the hair, yeah, so I just done a note there as well. I said it, the General's charcoal pencils, both white and black. Wow, they'll just make your work zing. And this little top knot that I'm doing in here, that's made up by me. My apologies to the model. I got a little lost in the way her hair was going. But unless you're really picky about these things, it came out looking okay. And you'll see me throwing in greens and reds and the more sort of like little variations of colour you get in there, when you stand from a distance, the better it looks. And remember, you're looking at this picture quite close. The camera's, I don't know, about half a metre away from the desk. And oh look, we're just coming to the end now. But when you stand away from a painting, then your brain just fills in all the details and just forgives so much. And it's the joy of painting. They're designed to be seen from a distance. So here's the details done. We've managed to get a very small palette of panpastels to achieve this. And yep, when you've finished it, just pause, reflect on what you've done, and you'll come back and you'll find that you just need to adjust. And that's what I ended up doing with this painting. I just needed to adjust the background and some details, and then called it done. And I think we're coming up to seeing in it that any second now. Yep, there we go. So that's the finished painting. Thank you so much for watching the series with me, and I hope to see you again. I'll leave you with a zoom out of the painting. Thanks again.